Hello, you're welcome to the channel of the least effect. Today we have on the table extracting data into Excel for analysis. Excel is a very powerful tool that can allow you to do many interesting and fascinating things, and one of such is data extraction, which helps you to bring data into it for analysis very conveniently and then in an easy way. It, through its data tab feature, is able to afford you with that flexibility. So in this video, we are going to go through the process of bringing data into Excel for whatever analysis you want to make. Hopefully, by the end of the video, you become familiar with such a process, and then henceforth, you would resort to using such processes for bringing data into analysis without having to type all of that huge data into Excel before you can do any analysis. So let's get started. So with our Excel opened, you locate the menu bar, which usually houses these different kind of tabs. But in this case, we need the data tab. So we select that one. When you select that one, you go to your far left, you have the get data. Then use this option to get data from various sources. So for instance, if you select get data from file, this is to enable you to get a file locally existing, and then we have to get data from other sources. So we're going to select that one. So using the file options, if you were having a data in a particular workbook that you want to bring in for analysis, you can do that. If you're having a data in a PDF file, you can also get that with this. In this case, the focus today is getting data from the web, and then we come to this option, then we go to getting data from the web. If you select this option, it gives you a small window for you to be able to paste the URL to the site from which you are going to get the data. And then in my case, this is the site from which I'm going to get the data from. So this is actually a site from which I can get the financial statements of APSA, both the income statement and the statement of financial position. Today, the focus is on getting the income statement. So I come to the address bar, then I copy the URL, Control-C, then I go back to my Excel, then I paste the URL. Having pasted the URL, I click on OK, and then with this process happening, is simply establishing connection between my Excel and the server from which I'm going to get the data. Whilst we're waiting for that, one thing I want you to note is that you need to become familiar with the page or the location from which your data is, so that you can easily select out the various tables that the system is going to give it to you. So you need to know the page at which the data is located. Okay, having said that, now I'm having these different tables that the system has given to me. So it simply means that these are the various tables that are existing. So for my case, my data is existing in page 1. That's the first page. So we have the income statement and then the statement of financial position being put side by side. Okay, so I go back to Excel. Then I select the page 1. Then the interesting thing about it is that it has a preview that you're able to, for each of the tables that you're clicking, you're getting the preview here. And then if it's not the data that you want, you can select the next option. For instance, I'm having this, and this is the statements of changes in equity, but I'm interested in statements of financial position and then the income statement. So I have this. Now, if this is actually all what you want, you simply click on load data straight away. But if it's not all that you want, then you want to transform the data to the portions that you want, then you select the transform feature, then we select this. In my case, I want to transform because it's not all that I want. So this will lead me into a query window from which I will have to make some few queries before I can get the right data that I want. Okay, so my query window is opening, and then here it opens. Okay, so those of us who are familiar with an income statement would bear with me that not all the things here are all the things that we would want to be in an income statement, and therefore we need to eliminate those things that we don't want to be in our income statement. And then beginning would be to eliminate some of the columns, and then we start with column elimination. And definitely you bear with me that things about assets, condensed statement of financial position will definitely be out of coverage area and shouldn't be part of your income statement. So it means that we are beginning at column 4. Then you select the column, and then so it means that from column 4 all the way to my right are things that I wouldn't need. So selecting column 4, how then do I select the rest of the other column? You have 2 ways of doing that. You hold your shift key after you selected the first one, and then you click on the last column to select all the other ones. Or you select the first column, then you hold your your control key, then you select each of the other ones one by one to finish with the process. So now that I've finished selecting the columns that I want to remove, I come to remove columns. Then I have this. Now I'm having 2 options. Either I click on remove columns, which will just allow me to to remove the columns that I've just selected, or I pick remove other columns, which will allow me to remove the unselected column. So I want to remove the selected column. So I select the first one. Now I've gotten rid of the columns that I don't need. Now, again, those of us who are familiar with the income statement will bear with me that it's still not all the things in it that we need. Some of the rules here are actually things that we don't need, and then we need to get rid of those rules. And beginning with is usually the income statement ends at basic and diluted earnings per share. So I'm going to stop at 41. It means that the rest of the rules below 41 are actually rules that I don't need. Now, to get rid of the rules below, you need to know the number of them that are below that you don't need. So you need to do a countdown to know the number of rules that you don't need. For me, I had already done the countdown, and then I'm aware that I'm supposed to remove about 20 plus of them. So I'm going to do that. So you come to remove rules, and this is the future. So you are removing, you have the option to remove top up, then bottom down. So I want to remove the bottom rules. So I pick this. Now, with this particular option, what I would advise that when you do the countdown below, please, when you come to put in the number here to get rid of the rules, please put a number less than the count that you made by 2, so that in the event that you may have done a repeated counting during the counting process, it will still do the consolidation for you. Otherwise, if you should just put the exact number, and then in the event that you had done a repeated counting, there's no way that you can reverse the process. The operations are such that a simple Control Z undo wouldn't do it for you. And then it's always best you put a number less than the count that you made by 2. Okay, in this case, let me put, say, 21. I put 21, then I'm getting the bottom 21 rows to be removed for me. And then I'm still left with about 3 of them left that I don't need. So I simply go back to remove rows. Then I pick bottom. So 3 of them. Now I can confidently know that, there's no mistake in my count, so I can put the exact number. And this is what I'm putting here. Then, okay. So yeah, so that's that. I think I have gotten or have transformed the data into the format in which I want it to be, and then pretty much I can load the data. So I come to this option. So what this particular is giving you two options, either to load the data to the existing worksheet, or you load it to a new worksheet, and that's the second option. But in this case, we are interested in loading it to the existing worksheet. So I select the first option. Great. Now, the most interesting thing about this is that it brings in the data in a very beautified manner. You don't have to do any design to it. It's already come in a design form. And then pretty much, you have this nice look of your data presented to you. Then you have the options to choose the various colors of your table. If you want it to be in this format, you pick this. If you want it to be in this format, you pick that. If you want it to be in this format, you pick this. But for me, I would usually want my thing to be in a green color mode. And then that is it, basically. We have successfully brought our data into Excel. What is now left is for us to proceed with the analysis we want to make. Hopefully, you have gained a skill or two here, and then henceforth, wouldn't sit to type in data manually into Excel for any analysis, but would rather use this process. And then, having gained this beautiful skills, you would consider liking, subscribing, and then sharing this video to friends and families so that they can get to learn from this tutorial. Thank you very much for having listened to me.